Let's talk Tanya for the 3rd of Tishrei of a leap year. In the last few days, we've mentioned several times that the ability to create something from nothing, what's known as yesh mi'ayin, is within the power of God Himself only. There is no other entity other than God that creates something from nothing. We actually know this for a fact. We know that no human being can create something from nothing, but also in a deeper sense, when we're talking about something from nothing, as we explained in the last few days, we're talking about producing something which does not in any which way sense that it is an extension of the one that produced it. And this is something which only God Himself can do. And why is that? Because the only entity that exists that has no cause, actually has no cause, is God Himself. And we're talking here about God Himself, what is known as Atzmus Samahus, the very essence of God, which is causeless. He exists by virtue of His own existence. He always exists. He necessarily exists. And everything else, everything that emanates from God, has a cause. And because it has a cause, it is, so to say, trapped in this system of cause and effect. It is the effect of a cause, and therefore, yes, it can also produce other things, but anything that it produces also will see itself as an effect of a cause. Only God Himself, who is causeless Himself, He has the ability to create something which is yesh mi'ayin, something from nothing, something which senses itself as an independent existence, something which senses itself as not having a cause by itself. So yesh mi'ayin, something from nothing, only in the hands of the infinite God. Although at the same time, over the past days, we're talking about how the infinite light of God, what is known as the Or Ein Sof, has the ability to create something from nothing, and that is because the infinite light of God is called light. Even though it is energy, why is it called light? And one of the reasons why it's called light is because light has all the properties of the source of light. Light doesn't have any of its own properties. Everything it has is only from its source. The infinite light of God also, in the words of Chassidus, Oyer me'ein hamoyer, the light is similar to the source of the light in the sense that it too therefore has the capacity to create something from nothing. Now, the infinite light of God, because again, it has this power which it has as a extension of the essence of God, has the ability to create something from nothing. But if it were to create something from nothing, whatever it would create would be infinite, because the infinite light of God is itself infinite. So therefore, the infinite light of God has to enter and merge with the attributes of the world of Atzilus, wisdom, understanding, knowledge, kindness, severity, etc. And when it enters these containers, it attains the color, the picture, the texture of these attributes. So suddenly now the energy of God has definition. Yeah, the energy which now appears to be wisdom, the energy that now appears to be kindness, etc. And now with these tools, the infinite light of God, as it merges and enters and unites with the vessels of the world of Atzilus, with this we can create something from nothing, but not only something from nothing, but also defined and limited something from nothing, that which we have. And with this we understand the sentence with which we began this chapter, Iyu v'chayo yichad, Iyu v'garmo yichad. We said God, the infinite light of God, it unites with the energies in the world of Atzilus and the vessels in the world of Atzilus. And what is the purpose of this uniting? Is in order to create something from nothing, to create the system of creation. Now, as an aside, something that we can take away from this idea that something from nothing is only within the capabilities of the essence of God Himself, is that when we look around the world, a lot of times we see things, events, phenomena, and we see how they're sourced in God. It makes sense to us. Yes, it makes sense to us how God would create or do something of this sort. And then there are sometimes when we see something and it makes no sense. It's something from nothing. This came from God. We don't see the connection. We don't see how this can be an extension from God. And when we see something of that sort, something which is difficult to understand, something which is difficult to digest, we have to realize this is yesh mi'ayin. This is something from nothing, which means this doesn't come from any specific level of godliness. This actually is sourced in the essence of God Himself, which is why we look at it and we can't see its source, remembering the power to create something from nothing is only within the ability of the essence of God Himself. So we've explained over here how creation comes through the merging of the infinite light of God with the vessels of the attributes of the world of Atzilus. In tomorrow's Tanya, however, the Alter Rebbe will explain how specifically the ability to create something from nothing, although it is happens through all the attributes, but it is specifically associated with one attribute, the very last and lowest of the attributes, which is Malchus, royalty.